Imagine a hole in the earth so narrow, so suffocating that most grown men cannot even fit their shoulders through it. Now imagine descending 100 feet into the pitch-black heart of a South African cave system through a passage called Superman's Crawl. If you make it through, you enter a chamber that shouldn't exist. A chamber filled with the bones of a creature that defies every law of evolution we thought we knew. They had the brains of an orange, but the hands of a toolmaker. They lived in the trees, yet they walked like us. But here is the part that is currently terrifying the scientific world. Deep in this inaccessible darkness, they were burying their dead. Before Homo sapiens ever built a city, before we ever wrote a word, this alien cousin was performing rituals in the dark. Welcome to Primeval Life. Today, we are squeezing into the Rising Star Cave to meet Homo Naledi, the tree-dwelling aliens who practiced the world's first religion. In 2013, two cavers in South Africa stumbled upon a vertical shaft known as the chute. It was a 7.5-inch wide crack in the rock. When researchers finally peeked inside, they didn't find one skeleton, they found 15 and thousands of bone fragments. It was a biological gold mine. But as the lead scientist, Lee Berger, looked at the remains, he realized he wasn't looking at modern humans, and he wasn't looking at Neanderthals. He was looking at something that looked like it had been assembled from the parts of 3 different species. Their hips were primitive, like the famous Lucy fossil from millions of years ago. Their shoulders were built for swinging through the canopy of trees, but their wrists and their feet, they were almost identical to yours. It was as if evolution had taken a detour. Homo naledi was a mosaic, a biological glitch in the matrix of human history. But the real mystery wasn't just what they were, it was how they got there. The Naledi chamber, where the bones were found, is nearly impossible to reach. There is no other entrance, no evidence that these creatures were washed in by a flood, no tooth marks from predators who might have dragged them there. That leaves only one haunting conclusion. To get their dead into that chamber, Homo naledi had to carry them, in the dark, through a labyrinth of stone. Think about the implications. To navigate a cave system this complex, you need light. This suggests that a creature with a brain size barely larger than a chimpanzee's had mastered the use of fire. They were carrying torches into the bowels of the earth to dispose of their kin. This wasn't just survival. This was a ritual. This was the birth of the afterlife. If you met a Homo naledi in a dark alley, your brain would scream at you. They stood about 5 feet tall, but they were incredibly lean. Their fingers were long and permanently curved, a physical remnant of a life spent gripping branches in the high canopy. But their faces were the stuff of nightmares. They had a heavy brow ridge and a small sloping forehead. They wouldn't have looked like an animal, but they wouldn't have looked human either. They were the ultimate Uncanny Valley residents. Scientists originally thought these fossils were 2 million years old because they looked so primitive. But when the results came back, the world was stunned. They lived only 250,000 to 300,000 years ago. That means while our direct ancestors were starting to develop complex language and tools, this throwback species was still lurking in the shadows of South Africa. We shared the planet with them. In 2023, the mystery got even deeper. Researchers found engravings on the cave walls, cross-hatched marks, and geometric shapes carved in the stone near the burial sites. If these were made by Homo naledi, it changes everything. It means that art and symbolic thought aren't reserved for big-brained humans. It means that the urge to leave a mark, to say, "I was here," is much older and much stranger than we ever imagined. But critics are skeptical. How could a creature with a brain size of a grapefruit perform burials, use fire, and create art? Some say we are overestimating them. others say we have spent a century underestimating what it means to be human. What happened to them? Why did the tree climbers disappear while we went on to conquer the moon? Perhaps as the forests of Africa shrank, their specialized bodies couldn't compete with the long-distance running and advanced weaponry of Homo sapiens. We may have hunted them, or we may have simply watched as the last of their kind descended into their caves one final time, extinguished their torches, and became part of the stone. The next time you feel a chill in a dark place or a sense of someone is watching you from the woods, remember Homo Naledi. We aren't the only ones who have called this planet home. We're just the ones who survived to tell the story. History isn't a straight line. It's a graveyard of species that almost made it. If you want to see the superhuman that actually hunted our ancestors and why we still have a biological fear of the dark, you need to watch this video right here. This is Primeval Life. Don't forget to subscribe and tell me in the comments, do you believe a small-brained creature could really be the world's first artist? Let's discuss.